This is a surface water study for Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed near Jay, Oklahoma. Also, an explanation of legal aspects of surface water and biodiversity. Studying water quality is important for human use and biodiversity because it keeps toxic eutrophication from entering the drinking water of humans. The studying of biodiversity of water is important because it also allows scientists to understand the phytoplankton, algal blooms, red tide, and other dangerous toxic chemicals that enter the water, which endangers fish and other living organisms. Without the study of water, humans, animals, and fish could die of related diseases from water. The study of water is also important for agricultural purposes as well because of the pH level that is needed to grow certain plants and produce food. Without water quality study, many things on this earth would not exist and become extinct. Agricultural surface water pollution, such as fertilizers, can produce water pollution through rainwater falling upon the agricultural lands and then washing into lakes and rivers. This produces algae and algal blooms that can develop dead zones within the waterways. Mining can produce toxic leaching of pollution into streams, rivers, and lakes. Through the process of mining, rocks are heaped up near the mines. Within the natural process of acid rain, these rocks can leach acidity into the waterways. A pH level of 2 is very acidic and can kill plants and fish within the waterways of rivers and lakes. Dredging is also a normal way to end eutrophication within waterways. However, dredging can also develop sedimentation upon buildup of surface waters, and this leads to fish eating toxic chemicals that found their way to the bottom of the lake and the river. Once dredging begins, these toxic chemicals can surface on the surface water. They can change acidity or even make the water toxic to drink. Also, fish can eat some of these sediments that are within the water brought up from the dredging and kill them through toxicity. I use dissolved oxygen, pH level, temperature, and turbidity as quality metrics in this study. Dissolved oxygen is the level of free, non compound oxygen present in water and other liquids. The safe level of dissolved oxygen is 9 to 10 parts per million in the water. It is a very good parameter in indicating water quality because of its influence on living organisms that use dissolved oxygen to survive, such as marine life. Within the Lake Uchia and Beatty River watershed, the average dissolved oxygen reading was 11. This is still a good reading and would continue a healthy life source for marine survival. pH level is the parameter that is used to determine how acidic the water is within lakes and rivers. At Lake Uchua watershed and Beatty Creek, it was determined that the pH level was on average to be 8. The parameter should be 6 to 8 in rivers, streams, and ponds. However, for drinking water, it's supposed to be 8 to 9.5. This indicates that the Lake Uchua and Beatty River watershed is good for marine life and drinking water success. The temperature within Lake Uchua and Beatty River watershed should be 55 to 68 degrees, but can be warmer depending on the time of year. The temperature is an important part of water quality when it comes to total maximum daily loads within the water. The temperature within the watershed is on average 55 degrees, which are within limits of the total maximum daily loads. Specific conductance is the amount of conductance needed within the water for salinity. Specific conductance between 50 to 1500 is good for fish health within lakes, rivers, and streams. Within the Lake Uchua and Beatty Lake watershed, or Beatty Creek watershed, the average specific conductance was 227. This indicates that the specific conductance is within range for good water salinity. Turbidity is the relative measure of water clarity and is the result of suspended matter in water and reduces the transmission of light. The normal parameter of turbidity is 1 to 10. However, in the Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed, the turbidity was over 133 on average uh, within the study. This indicates that the turbidity is indicative of the amount of acidity, pH level, as discussed above, through sedimentation, phosphorus, nitrate, and other dangerous toxins that are being controlled within Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed. The Safe Water Drinking Act was enacted by Congress in 1974 and protects water in the Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed by making sure that any toxins or contaminants within the watershed that is used for drinking will be pure when it comes to health standards for human beings. Some of the protections through barriers of water pollutants are source water protection, water treatment, distribution system integrity, and public information. The Clean Water Act is set up by the EPA to regulate the discharge of pollutants and regulate quality standards for surface waters. The EPA, under the Clean Water Act, produces wastewater standards and national water quality criteria for surface waters. The Clean Water Act makes it illegal to discharge pollutants into the Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed unless a permit is obtained. Overall, when you look at the report of the Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek watershed, it passes the EPA standards across the board for all water metrics, and it basically is one of the best lakes. Lake Uchua and Beatty Creek would be one of the best lakes in the state of Oklahoma when it comes to drinking water and also marine life. This is the end of my report.